Welcome back. All you slip joint enthusiasts from around the world to Baxter's Blades, you're entering the Tiger Pit. Ram! I picked up another Queen City knives. Yes, owned by Smoky Mountain Knife Works. This was before they were in production by Bear & Son in the USA. This is QC008. Let's check it out. It is called the Mini Canoe, and this one is in black pearl. Now, if you know me, I'm not a really big canoe fan. I do have 2 case canoes. I do have a baby butterbean that was gifted to me. Wow, look at that rainbow color here on the pile side. And I have like the China Queen canoe. But I've never really been too into these mini canoes. You can see it has a match strike long pole. Really nice spear point blade. That's the big one. You see Queen City stamped on the tang. You have the model number and China. And another match strike long pull for the smaller pin blade. Also Queen City stamped on the tang. Yeah, they're small. They're about the size of a peanut. And actually, that's the reason I got this one. Let's get a close-up of that black pearl. I really like the black pearl. I almost like it more than the abalone. I think the abalone, they made these in abalone, and it was just a little too busy. Looks to be more white on this side. Got single thread to either bolsters, and yes, the canoe pattern hides the tang. Beautiful fit and finish on this. You can see the brass liners. No pins in the covers. Gives it a real clean look. I'm not sure if they didn't want it to crack. Look at how tight those back springs are. 0 gaps. And blade centering looks good. I don't see any blade rub, though. It might get it if you... the pen blade's kind of off on that liner, but they spaced it out so you're not getting any blade rub. Yes, the reason I got this one. Well, I wanted to try out the black pearl, and I had picked up this Queen City peanut. This is one of my first peanuts. This is absolute amazing. I compared this to a 70s case, and it is almost identical. The bolsters are nice and rounded and chamfered off like the old 70s case peanuts. And the new case peanuts, they're a little bit blockier. This has half stops. Very nice. So you can see the close length is the same. So 2 7/8, just under 3 inches. And this is, I do have a couple of case peanuts, and I have a Rough Rider, and I think a Frost, but this is by far one of my favorite carries, and they're like $10. So that's why I decided to pick this up. I have done a video on one of these a while back. I think it was last summer. Brad had picked one up, and he let me do a video on it. And I'm just not a canoe fan quite as much, but I wanted to get these before they were gone because they're not making them anymore. And the fit and finish on these Queen City made in China is absolutely awesome. So I almost think that this is a little bit more usable than the peanut. I don't know. I guess just different. The blade's just fatter, more space, nice spear point. And I think maybe just because the secondary blade might be more usable than this little tiny pin. Yeah, just fatter. Not even as long. But you do get a little bit more grip. You can see more of the serpentine shape here to the peanut, almost like a dog leg, but very nice, high quality. And I wanted to pick these up, and Chicago Knife Works, they were under $10. I think the actual Black Pearl and Abalone full-size canoes were like 13 or 14. But with Case bringing back the baby butterbean, I wanted to pick up another one of these because the baby butterbeans are quite pricey from Case. And actually, I have one to compare it to. This was a 50th birthday present from a family member. Case Select Genuine Stag Baby Butterbean. It says it right there. And they go for a lot. They go for pretty much the price of a normal full-size canoe. And I'm not sure why. It's probably that whole collectible small knife case thing. But to spend $70, $80 for something like this, I just can't justify it. You can see this was used. You got a little pitting on the blade there. No half stops. Case Select. Nice long pull. I wonder if that could be ground down a bit. Maybe it looks like somebody already did. But a little swedging to the back side of that blade. And they are very nice. You got a little swedging right there. So to compare the two, well, very rarely do I see Case and Genuine Stag. They are releasing more of them. So this was not a cheap piece by any means. It's probably picked up from an antique store. You do not see any swedging on the Queen City. This does have swedging. Rumor had it that Case Select was made by GEC. I think this is a 98. And, well, this is just a $9 made in China. But it is high quality. I guess we could check a blade stock difference. Really nice snap on it there. Blade stock. Well, you can see down at the tang, it's way thicker there. See the difference? Looks like the baby butterbean is running on one single back spring. And this is like a traditional canoe where you have two. Also, this has separate bolsters and liners, and this looks like all one piece integrated bolster and liner. Now, this is a Case Select, so I am not sure if the butterbeans that they are making now are exactly the same. If you happen to have one, maybe you can tell me in the comment. So definitely a difference. Now, it's very rare that I do see integrated bolsters and liners on a Case. But like I said, I think these might have been made by GEC, and it is a Case Select, so it's very unique. I don't think I will pick up a new Case butterbean. Like I said, if you have one, mention in the comments. Are they all like that? Integrated liners and bolsters, no brass, one big back spring, which is very cool. Makes it very unique. Swedging, really nice snap on this little guy. But for $9, $10, I'd say this is definitely worth it for a fifth pocket carry. Something a little bit different than just carrying a peanut in your pocket. A little bit more heft, and definitely high quality, well built. Like, look at that back spring. Now, not to say that all of them are like this. I see zero gaps, really nice brass liners, and the same with this peanut. Now, I was a fan of Queen City and the normal Queen. I think they went from Queen City to Queen, made in China, and now Smoky Mountain does not carry them anymore. So you could probably find them at Chicago Knife Works and possibly other places. Like I said, this is like their 8th pattern. and they're not making them anymore. I don't know how many they made, so I definitely wanted to jump on this before it was gone to have this nice set. Well, thank you so much for joining me in the Tiger Pit for this comparison of the mini Canoe and the baby Butterbean. Another difference is this has a thread to either bolster, this one does not. Not to say that the case doesn't do one without a thread. They might be out there. If you're interested in this pattern, they're coming out with a lot of them, so check it out. You all stay sharp, be kind, and take chances. Take care.